This is Joel Zapata interviewing Juanita Salinas, and today is September 26th, 2015, and we're in Fort Worth, Texas. Ms. Salinas, to begin with, can you state your name?
I'm Juanita Salinas.
Your birthday?
4636.
And where you were born?
In Fort Worth, Texas.
Thank you. I'm going to begin with your family history.
Okay.
Where did your family live before they coming to Fort Worth?
Okay, my daddy was from San Luis Potosí, Mexico. And my mother was from El Valle de Guadalupe, Guadalajara, Jalisco.
Do you know what towns?
What towns?
Yes.
My father was from San Luis Potosí.
Okay.
And my mother was from El Valle de Guadalupe, Jalisco, close to Guadalajara.
Okay, thank you. And when they came to the United States, did they come straight to Fort Worth, or they slowly migrate to Fort Worth?
Okay, my father came here I would say in the 18th. And he worked in the mines in the border. They used to have mines then. And the mines closed down, and they needed people to build the railroad. So my father was a well-educated man from San Luis Potosí. He went to school over there. And they chose him to bring braceros on this side of the border to start the railroad from Laredo to San Antonio. So he went to his hometown, San Luis Potosí, and brought a bunch of braceros and brought them to build the railroad from Laredo to San Antonio. And when they finished that line, they gave him another contract to build from San Antonio to Waco. So he built from San Antonio to Waco, and then from Waco to Fort Worth. And in Fort Worth, he met my mother. My mother came I think she was 19, something like that. When she came here, my grandfather was a divorcee. His wife died in Mexico, and so my grandfather put my mother in a school in Guadalajara with the nuns. So when there was another sister, and when my mother's sister died, my daddy went and got my mother at the borderline, right by the Laredo, and passed her with one nickel. She crossed the border, and my grandfather brought her here, and that's when she met my father. And my father was working on the railroad with a lot of men. I guess my father made eyes at my mother, and my father's wife died, had left him with 7 kids. And my mother got married to my father and helped my father raise the kids. But the 2 older ones were about my mother's age. My father was way older than my mother. And they went to Chicago, Illinois, my 2 older brothers. So my mother raised the other 5 children of my daddy. And then there was 6 children. My mother had 1 child. She brought 1 child from Mexico over here. So my daddy adopted my half-brother and put his last name. So they got married and had 5 kids. So 6 and 7 is 13 children.
Okay.
From 2 marriages.
And just quickly, can I have your mother's name as well as your father's name, since we just talked about them?
Yeah, my mother, when she married my daddy in let me see, my sister was born the 28th, I would say on the 27, 26, something like that. My mother gave my daddy's permission to adopt her son, which is one of my oldest brothers, and they established 5 more kids, which is 13 kids from 2 marriages.
Okay. I'm just going to ask you a little bit about your experiences in Fort Worth.
Okay.
Can you list any community organizations or social or political organizations you've been involved with?
Okay. I've been involved with LULAC. I've been a delegate for LULAC. I've gone to the conventions in LULAC. Can I say something on sports?
Yes.
Okay. I play semi-pro in softball. I travel all the way to Canada and Florida to represent the state of Texas. I coach a team for the Immaculate Heart, young kids, get them out of trouble. Mm-hmm. I took over the parade in 1992. My brother was the co-founder of the Hispanic Chamber, Downtown Parade. And in 1992, before he died, he told me to complete his dream. So I took it over in 1992 to 2015. I've had it 23 years. My brother had it 27 and I had it 23. I've been co-chairman for the last 23 years of the Hispanic Culture Downtown Parade, one of the biggest parades downtown. I got nominated for the Presidential Award. I got nominated for the Woman of the Year for Star Telegram. I got proclamations from the Tarrant County for serving the community. I got proclamations for 23 years from the city. I got one of the highest honors Tuesday from the ISD. I give scholarships. I make a book and I sell the ads, and that's how I make the money to give scholarships. And then I have sponsors that help me sponsor the parade and the scholarship. I collect money for the unprivileged kids that can't afford to have Christmas. I've done it 3 years for this community service. It's a church that I help collect the money. I'm always helping a helping hand to any Hispanic or Latino that needs help. I give my services. I go and translate in courts. I go in when they're in domestic problems, when they have problems at home, I make sure I'll go and talk to them. I used to counseling the kids at Rosemont when they play hooky. I would go and talk to the parents. Oh my God, I've done so much for the community that really, on my 23 years that I've been involved in the parade, that I took over 23 years, but I was involved in it since we started it. We started it with 4 cars in 1965. We didn't have no music. We had a speaker on top of the truck, and we had a recording inside the truck, and we would play the Spanish anthem of Mexico for 2 years. And that's the way we started the parade downtown. And then my brother got connections with the school, and we got a band, which was Northside High School. Was the first band after 2 years doing the parade. They helped us. And since then, they've been helping us up to this year.
In your job, your various jobs in the community, what leaders have you met that have helped you out or have been participants alongside you, whether it's the education programs or whether it's the parade?
Well, the reason why I do the parade, for one reason, to pick up funds to educate so the kids can obtain their education. encourage them that they can get ahead. They take step by step, and they can get up there. I've learned that you can be somebody and make yourself out of somebody if you go step by step. Because you rush yourself up there, you can fall down and it's hard to get up. I was manager for the Guys and Dolls Ballroom. My family owned 4 ballrooms here in Tarrant County. We were the first ones to bring Mexican music here in Tarrant County. In 1960, we were the first ones to bring the music to the Casino Ballroom. And then after that, we bought Guys and Dolls, and I was the manager there 28 years. I catered to the Hispanic, African American, the Anglos, the Chicanos. I catered, well, I don't know if I should mention her name, but to the famous Salinas.
And so what kind of music would your family bring? Norteño music?
My mother was all for the Mexican music. My father was not too much for the music. My father was very conservative. He liked music, but he liked Mexican music. But my father was not the type of man that you would see, he would go to dances or nothing. He was always trying to make sure that we got an education and we live right, we respect people, and we would help. He always told us, if you got a piece of bread, cut it in half. Give one to who needs it and keep the other for tomorrow.
Just to segue off since we're talking about your parents, can you tell me a little bit about your family history? Did they work anywhere else aside from the ballrooms? Did they have any other businesses?
My daddy was a fireman for the MKT. Like I say, he brought a lot of braceros from San Luis Potosí here. Half of the people, some of them live here in Fort Worth, and some of them live out of town. And my mother was a housewife. And when my father died in 1944, my mother went to work for Benny Keith. My mother did not know, she couldn't speak English, but they put her as leader of a packing fruit at Benny Keith. And she, until she retired when she was 62, and she died when she was 71.
Okay, and your brothers and sisters, did they all move here to Fort Worth with the rest of the family?
No, all my sisters and brothers were born here.
Okay. Can you tell me their names?
Okay. My older brother, Emmett and Adolph, they're oldest. They were my mother's age. I mean, when my daddy married my mother, both of them went to Chicago and established their home in Chicago. The next to Adolph was Steve. He served in the Army in World War II. The next one was Tony. Then my sister Concepcion, she got married. Then my sister Matilde, my brother Salvador, and then there was Virginia, Martha, Gabriel, Dick, and I. 13 of us.
Okay, and what part of Fort Worth did you grow up in?
I grew up in Southside. I went to school at a school they used to call South Fort Worth, and now it's Wilson School. They changed the name. I went to Katy Lake from the 1st to the 3rd, Katy Lake School. It was all Hispanic. From there, I went to the South Fort Worth from the 4th to the 6th. From the 7th to the 8th, I went to Rosemont Junior High. And then to the 9th. And then from the 10th to the 12th, I graduated from Technical High School. And I went 2 years to Tarrant Junior College. I was minoring in personnel management, and I was majoring in accounting.
How was the community, what was the community makeup of the neighborhood you grew up in? Was it mostly all Latinos or Hispanics?
All of them were Latinos. The part of Hemphill, south, I would say east of Hemphill, was all Latinos. On the other side of Hemphill, it was Anglos. And, a lot of people say that when you went to school, I never had problems in school because my mother sent me and my two brothers to this lady to learn English. But I couldn't say too much words in English when I was young, but I could understand the teachers. So I didn't have any problems in learning English, because right away, I had been taught to speak English with my mother. My mother didn't speak English, but she sent us to this lady across the alley from my house, where we used to live on South Side, to learn English, all three of us, me, Dick, and Gabriel, my brother. So when we went to school, we went to South Fort Worth and Rosemont. I didn't have no problems.
Okay, and all the whole school that you went to, was it all Latino as well, or Mexican?
Yes, at the first grade, it was first to third, it was all Latinos. On the fourth and sixth, it was mixed. I could count about 9 Latinos, all of them were Anglos.
In the high school, the technical school?
The what?
The high school that you went to?
The junior high is the same. You could count the Latinos going to junior high at Rosemont. And then when I went to Tech, it was Latinos and Anglos.
Okay, so why was there so few Latinos in the higher grades?
Because I would say out of the group that I went to school with in my age, only 3 people graduated. 3 girls, and I would say about 4 boys.
Okay, and when you were growing up in Fort Worth, were African Americans allowed to mix with Mexican Americans, or how segregated was the city at that point?
Well, when I went to the elementary school, South Fort Worth, I mingled with Anglos. I didn't have no problem. I mean, I had friends. First I hang around with the Hispanic because they went to school, but I hang around with the Anglos. I didn't have no problem, socializing with them.
Okay.
And then when I went to Rosemont, it was the same way. When I went to Tech, I didn't have no problems. I was always the leader of the athletic club at Tech. I got a big honor at Tech. I got the T letter for Tech for the athlete. I was one of the highest, and I was Hispanic. No English got it, I got it.
Okay, well, thank you. And what churches did you go to as a young girl or as an adult?
Okay, I'm Catholic, and I go to Immaculate Heart in Southside.
Is that where you went as a child as well?
Yeah, that's when I was a child, yes.
Okay. And was there any Catholic organizations at that point catering to Mexican Americans?
Yes, there was organizations. In fact, there was an organization that used to go in the 60s to the casino, and my brother, one of my oldest brother belonged to their organization of the church, yes.
And what did the organization do?
It was men and women organization for the church. They would help raise funds and make, go and collect money, I guess, to help the church.
Okay. And talking a little bit more about your experiences, I was very interested to hear what your book is about that you collect funds through.
Repeat that?
The book that you sell to collect funds?
Okay. I collect funds You mean for the scholarship or
Yes.
for needy children?
The scholarship.
Okay, the scholarship, I collect funds, and I've been doing that 23 years. I make a book, an 8x10 book. I sell ads to friends of mine. All the ads that I got in my books. This is my book.
Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Okay, this is the parade. And this is the book that I make now in 2010. Look at the difference.
The color.
Because this collects more than that.
So you mostly have ads of Latino organizations in here, correct?
No, I have only businesses.
Only businesses.
I have Anglo businesses. I have XTO. I have, let me see, Tarrant Junior College. I have Fiesta Mark is one of my biggest sponsors. Here it is, Fiesta Mark, one of my biggest sponsors. He's one of my sponsors too, Representative Medrano. Q-Trip is one of my other big sponsors. Health First is one of my big sponsors. In fact, I put 20 years behind the medical there.
Okay.
At Health First. I was a medical assistant. XTO is one of my biggest sponsors. This is the school that I collect money for the unprivileged children.
Okay. Can you say the school name?
School of Hope.
Thank you. And is that school focused for Latinos, or is it for anyone who's underprivileged?
I gave it to anyone. This community, it's a community center. I did volunteer work for this community center. And I would collect money for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, and baskets for the children for Easter. It didn't matter black, Anglo, or Hispanic.
Okay, and since we're talking about the book is for the Hispanic celebration in downtown Fort Worth, the parade. When it started, you said you started with 4 vehicles, correct? What year was that?
When we started the parade,
Yes.
1965.
And how was your brother was in charge of it? First,
Okay.
correct?
Well, how we started it, my mother used to take us to Guadalajara, Jalisco. And my brother was 14, I was, I'd say about 10, 9, 10. And she used to take me and my 2 brothers to Guadalajara to visit her family in Guadalajara. And the first time she took us to a parade in Mexico. My brother got the idea. So he came back from the vacation, and he had that idea. As he grew up, he got involved. He graduated from Pasco. He went to TCU for 1 or 2 years, and he got involved in political, and like he was a chairman of Dukakis, president that was running for president, Dukakis, and he was the co-founder of co-founder of Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in Fort Worth. He got involved in a lot of political organizations, and he thought about making the first parade, him and my brother, in the 60s. So when we were young, we used to have the street was dirt, nothing but dirt. And we used to play parade in the bicycles and get in the mud. That was always his mind, that he wanted to be a leader and he wanted to make a parade. So in 1965, him and my other brother got together, made the first parade downtown Fort Worth. Like I say, we made it for 2 years. First 2 years, no band. We had a big speaker on a truck and a record player to play the Mexican music. After the second year, he got connection with the school and got Northside. Northside High was the first band to play for the parade. And after that, they have helped us.
Did the Mexican community respond immediately to the parade? Did they want to support it and come out and see it?
Yes, sometimes I have only canceled it one time. As you remember, 13/11, that happened in New York. I got a letter from the president of Mexico, fax. He wrote me a letter and he told me that he wanted me to stop the parade because we were in mourn in New York. So what I did, I organized all kinds of religions on 2nd and 1st Street. And we had a prayer meeting there instead of the parade. And we had made T-shirts. I used to make T-shirts with the parade label. And I sold the T-shirts for $5, and I gave the money to the Red Cross.
And how did when you started the community, the parade, or when your brother started it and you helped, how did the rest of Fort Worth respond to the Hispanic parade?
Well, at first, there was not too many Mexican business here. It was hard, but people would get out and get a truck and decorate it and join the parade. And then as the business started picking up, people got in business, the business people started joining to the parade. Like for instance, the first ones were Jimenez Fine Food, Pulido Jewelry, Salinas Enterprise, let me see, there was another one, Cepeda Real Estate, Joe Lasso, Gilbert Garcia from American J.F. Farm. All those people helped my brother. They joined my brother in the parade. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And when did you joined the parade? What did you do in the community before you started leading the parade yourself?
Before I started the parade?
Before you started leading the parade.
Well, I was in the parade since 1965.
Okay.
I was the one to lead the microphone with the truck. I was the leader.
Okay.
Yes. I announced the dances at the casino, and I announced the people that were in the parade. Yeah.
Okay, and can you tell us, do you have any interesting experiences from the parade? One of your favorite memories from it?
Yes, a lot of memories. One memory was every day on Friday, I prayed to God that it don't rain, because a lot of people, they spend money decorating the cars, you know. And one day it rained, and the school wouldn't allow the kids to work in the parade because of the instruments. But still, we went and did the parade in the rain. And the kids love it. They enjoyed in the floats. They enjoyed getting wet in the floats. They didn't mind. So, you know, the school told me the next time that it rains, you cannot have the bands because the instruments get wet. But the kids, you know, they can be in the parade because the kids enjoyed it. And every time that I start the parade, it takes me 7 months. When my brother died, it took me 2 months. He died in July, and I did it in September. A lady that used to help me, her name was Belen Laguna Pacheco. I give her credit. If I give credit to anybody, it would be her, because she was the one that influenced me to continue my brother's dream. And she told my brother in my brother's bed that she would continue the parade with me, and she did. She helped me. In 2 months, we built the parade in '92. It was hard because I had lost my brother. You know, the last time that he was in the parade, he was in a wheelchair. And it was a lot of bad memories, a lot of hurts. And still, every time that I'm in the parade, I think about him. I think that he's with me. And I don't know, a lot of people don't believe this, but I have a witness, a lady that witnessed me. I was in the line with the trustees of ISD in the convertible this year. And I look up, and Miss Andujar and Trustee Jackson look at a cloud, just one cloud. There was no clouds. One cloud, straight. Miss Andujar, she knew my brother. She said, Juanita, look who's up there. And I said, where? There is your brother. Unbelievable. One cloud, straight. No clouds, just one.
So you kept it going, and very strongly. Have you gotten support from the city of Fort Worth to do the parade?
Have I what?
Gotten support from the city of Fort Worth to do the parade?
Well, in other words, you asking me if I can't repeat that again.
If the city of Fort Worth has supported you in continuing the parade?
Yes. I have worked, and I've up to this day, I've got clean record. I've been doing it 23 years since my brother died. My brother did it 27. He had a clean record. I've done it 23. I celebrate 50 years this year. And to me, when I get off my car to go to where the lineup is, I go and say hi to all the children, because the parade is for the children. The parade is so the children won't forget where their ancestors came from. A lot of children that I go around, I ask them, where are your grandfathers from? Some of them will tell me, I don't know, but some will tell me Mexico or Chihuahua or Durango, or, you know. To me, it gives me cold chills to learn that some of them do know where their ancestors come from. That's why I do the parade, for the children.
Thank you. I think that may be a good note to end the interview, but do you have any other stories or any other facts that you want to include in your interview before we end it?
Well, you ask me and I'll tell you.
Well, you told me that you were involved with LULAC. Can you tell me more
Yes.
what you've done with LULAC?
Okay, in LULAC, we fight for the Latinos' rights. You know that. We go to the conventions. We learn the right and wrong. And I've been a LULAC member for 15 years. I feel that LULAC is one of the strongest Latin American organizations here in the United States. I went to the conventions in Corpus. I went to the convention in Washington, D.C. I could not go to Puerto Rico, you know, but I've gone to, here in Texas, to a lot of conventions, yes.
And what do you think LULAC does for the community, whether it's in the United States or Fort Worth?
Well, LULAC is always behind when there's a problem with the Latino. I was in the chapter where this man, he passed away, Mr. Saldivar. He was very active. When there was a problem with the Latinos, he was right there. I don't know, you remember the problem we had in Farmers Branch? Discrimination? I win. And we got them to accept the Latinos to rent the apartments.
And you said you joined LULAC 15 years ago, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Before LULAC, were you involved with any other Latino organizations that were pro-justice organizations like LULAC?
No, I was too busy. I'll be honest, I was too busy in the entertainment business.
Okay.
I was involved in right after high school, I got involved with my brother in entertainment, yes.
And that's when you were saying you would set up, you would bring Mexican music, correct?
Yes, we had a radio station named Katia. We had a vending company named Gabe Vending Company. We had a label, we record musicians. We cater to people direct. Do you want me to mention?
Yes.
Okay. Mexico, Juan Gabriel, Lucha Villa, Vicente Fernandez, Antonio Aguilar, Pepe, Joan Sebastian, very good friend of mine. Oh God, this is Beatriz Adriana, Rosando Bernal, and groups, Huracanes, Los Tigres, Los Invasores, Los Yonix, Los Humildes, all those. I can go and go and go and go.
And to what year did you and your brother do that?
Okay, that's the Mexican music. The Chicano, we cater to Salinas when she was 13 years old. We cater to Lil Joe, Sonny, David Maris. Oh my God. Roberto Pulido. And Joe Bravo. You know, I could go on and on and on.
So you brought all of them here to Fort Worth?
Yes. And then the Anglos, we cater to Harry James, Glenn Miller's Orchestra, Tex Beneke, Julio Iglesias, Loretta Lynn, she's a very good friend of mine. In fact, Julio Iglesias was wonderful, ordinary person. Nothing that said that, you know, I had lunch with him when he came, and right now, but I couldn't bring him because, you know, he's up there now. And I catered to his son, what's his, Miguel? Miguel, oh God, what that was the name. He was a singer.
Okay. And to what year did you and your brother continue doing the?
Well, we started. He started in the '60s, and I used to be his cashier at the casino ballroom, and then when he bought Guys and Dolls, he put me as manager of Guys and Dolls until we closed the doors in '94.
Okay. And just to wrap up, if you feel like you need to wrap up, but do you remember the civil rights movement in Fort Worth? Do you remember it happening in Fort Worth, changing from going from some segregation to less segregation in the late 60s and early 70s?
Yes, it's changed because Latinos are more out than years back. They used to stay back. And now compared to I would say from the 60s that I can remember to now, you go down the street and what do you see? A Latino working. Construction, buildings, factories, all a Latino. The Latino, it's, I don't know, but the way I feel, and in the elections, I'm a assistant to the election
Okay.
person. I do the bilingual for them.
Okay.
Yes, I've been doing it for many years. Right after my brother, when my brother was living, I used to help him in the elections. Yeah, and then I could have taken over precinct, but I was so hurt. But then I started helping the bilingual, doing the bilingual. Yeah.
Okay. And do you do any other political activism, or do you work in any other areas of politics aside from being an election aide, I'm guessing is what you are? And when you're doing bilingual translation in LULAC, do you do anything else?
Okay, I have helped myself with the parade. I have helped people like Wendy Davis, good friend of mine. I have helped Ramon Romero, Ramon, what is his last name? His state representative. I've helped Pete Guerin. I've helped the mayor was not Patsy Price, but the other one. Well, Patsy Price is now doing the parade with us, but the mayor before that, she was a woman. I can't think of her name. And we've helped the mayors of Fort Worth get elected.
And you help them by having voter drives, or do you speak about their standpoints? How do you help?
No, I put them in the parade and I let them make their speeches.
Okay.
To get recognized in the Latino community, well, in the public.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, you ask me and I tell you.
I'm not sure if I have any questions left. That's why I'm asking you that question. But if you feel we've wrapped it up, I would like to thank you for discussing your life with us.
Okay.
And your many activities.
Yes, and another thing too, when I was a little girl, I remember Town Center
Yes.
used to be a lake. My family used to take my mother used to take my older sisters for a Sunday ride in a canoe at the lake, and now it's Town Center. And my brother used to tell us he used to see Bonnie and Clyde when they used to shoot at the ducks. Those stories were told to me when I was young. And I got to see the lake. It was a lake, and now it's Town Center. Yeah, it's the Gran Plaza. Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, and also Highway I-35 used to be a one-way going, one-way coming. It used to be called Highway 81. That I do remember. And Hemphill was a street made out of bricks, because this side was Anglo and this side was Latino.
And were the Latino streets also paved, or were they still unpaved?
Unpaved.
Unpaved?
They were dirt streets. Like I tell you, our street, South Main, we used to live in South Main when I was young. We used to play parade in the mud because it was dirt streets. They were not paved. But the other side was paved. It was Anglo.
Okay, well, thank you for letting us interview you. Hopefully we can do it again.